Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and join the forum there. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Spurs Chemo, Sleeping Warrior, Rob, Paul, Mark, Flatten Earth, Chocolate Saying, Arwin and Alex. Good to have you all.
Good to be here.
Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Nice to start the show with a full panel. I haven't actually said hello to you, Alex, before now. Obviously, I gave you an intro, but how are you doing? Yeah, that's no good. I'm going to have to kick you out, Alex. Bye-bye. Okay, let's do some housekeeping. So if somebody does want to join the panel, they're more than welcome to replace Alex. We need you to actually talk. That's what the point of the panel is, so my bad. You can join on the next show if you had mic issues. Any signs of curvature?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Destruction, though.
There's a couple of globe heads on the panel, surely. There must be some signs of curvature.
Rob,
Yes, sir.
are there any signs of curvature?
I'm surrounded by water, man. I don't know what else to say. I'm surrounded by water and mirages.
Are you surrounded by curved water?
Well, I would say that it's pretty flat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Good man. So no Nathan, next.
Well, hang on. Let him answer the question.
Well, he
Are
just
there
said
any
it's
signs of
flat.
curvature?
He did.
He just said it's
I
flat.
I can't see curvature with my own eyes. No.
There you go.
Great. That's a good start. Well done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very honest, Rob. I'm surprised at that answer, but brilliant. We can move on. That's great. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Oh no.
Well,
Ether-based, right?
rotation. I don't know. Let's steer away from that topic right now with everything going on in the flat Earth world. Way too much drama there.
It's not a
Why do you
flat
say
Earth-related
That's
question.
that's an important point.
It's a
Exactly.
globe
That
Earth-related
is
question. Not
Probably
flat
the
Earth.
second most
But
important
Rob,
point. In
Rob, sorry. You know, these questions may seem trivial. Okay, and you're like, well, I can't answer that. But it's a very important question that you, as a heliocentric believer, should be able to answer, right?
Well, the problem is I don't want to speak about other people's things in somebody else's group and hangout. I just didn't want to mention nothing on it. So I should have just said
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Any evidence that we can have a gas pressure without a container?
Rob?
I believe so. I
Right.
You believe in the evidence, you just can't really present it.
Well, what are you going to do to present it? You want me to have a massive chlorine spill and then measure the pressure of the chlorine
Really,
sitting on the Earth's surface?
It's
Like,
gonna last?
the thing is, Rob, you see, the whole point is that this type of thing should have been demonstrated already. You shouldn't have to go search for something or make something up. This is what we're told about our world that we live in. We're told these things are facts. So you should be able, for 2 seconds, to go and look and find some experiment that proves these things, some type of proof. The very fact that you don't is the problem, is why we're all here right now asking these very questions.
Well, everything has mass, correct? Everything's got some sort of mass.
No,
So-
not necessarily. But go on.
So if you have a giant pool of chlorine gas, it's going to be heavier at the bottom than the top of that pool, and that means there's pressure at the bottom with no lid over that.
But so remember the point that we had gotten to right before the question I asked you right before the show started again, right? I said if you drop a brick, obviously that's going to fall down, right? And I asked you what would happen if you drop a helium balloon, and what was your response?
Well, it goes up because it's less dense than the air.
Okay, so then my question after that was, why, if that works for that, why would that not work for everything else?
That's kind of what I'm saying. But
There you go.
Nathan says
So,
it's not possible.
but you're asserting that there's some type of force that requires everything to go down. So when you let go of the helium balloon, where is that force? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Where is that force that's keeping everything, that's supposedly keeping us walking around on the earth without flying off? All the water is on the surface, curving around, you know, the surface of the ball. But you let go of a helium balloon, there's no force there. So what's the problem? Ask yourself that.
I'll ask the panel this question. This might help. Does anybody on the panel disagree that there's a gradient?
No.
No, there's obviously a gradient, yes.
Okay, so that doesn't a gradient that still doesn't nullify the vacuum or pressure without a container.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
And Rob made
question-
an attempt to I could try to prove it with chlorine gas or whatever. I'd like to see you try that in an actual vacuum chamber, and then releasing some of that heavy gas into that depressurized vacuum chamber. Is it going to stick to the ground, or is it actually going to fill up the entire vacuumed container?
Well, once the
Well,
container gets filled to
when there
neutral
is no more
pressure,
pressure, any type of gas, no matter how heavy it is going to spread out and fill the container, because it has to, because you can't push against the vacuum.
Hey, Rob, I got another.
Push against other
and
gas.
here's
I
the
got a-
connection, Rob. So I'm sorry, Paul. Just
I was
1
gonna-
second.
Okay,
So
no, go ahead.
here's the connection. So you know that the helium balloon goes up, right, when you drop it, and that's
Mhm.
because the air in it is lighter than the air around it, right? So now
Okay.
you have to ask yourself, when it comes to the gas pressure we have in the atmosphere, how is that gas remaining in this atmosphere when we are surrounded by a vacuum of space, okay, in which all the air would disperse out into? But somehow or another, we're traveling around space, 66,000 miles per hour, we're going around the sun, with an atmosphere of air with no type of barrier, just remaining on the earth. Now ask yourself if that's a problem or not when you really think about it. Think about the propane tank without the tank. Okay? How would that work in a
Well,
vacuum?
assuming that gravity is non-existent, then yeah, it'd be a big problem. But I'm trying to come at things from the flat Earth perspective here, in a sense that you guys may not have gravity.
Hang on, what about gravity then?
Even with gravity, it's not going to work.
Let's move on to the next question then. So, any scientific evidence of gravity?
No. But even if there was,
Hang on,
then doesn't work.
I think we've actually moved past Paul, who
Scientific
did
evidence
actually
for
have
gravity.
on that last point a point that he wanted to make, and he just got rumpused. So, I don't know if you're still there, Paul.
I was just going to say, because I was going to ask Rob this, does water boil in a vacuum?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
There's evidence.
It
Yeah,
does.
evidence everywhere that the water will boil in a vacuum. So does that vapor that the water that the gas that the water becomes, does that fill up the vacuum?
So it's not rhetorical. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So that's still back to we're back to square one. So how do you have pressure without a container? So no matter what, like if helium rises, and which is the lightest, less dense material, it's going to rise to the top. But if there's no vacuum, it's going to go out into space and keep going. Then you're going to have the next layer go out into space. Then they have the next layer go out into space. And the next layer go out into space until you got nothing but a rock.
We can't ignore the very important statement that Rob made, though. He said if gravity was not real, then it would be a very big problem. And I think he's starting to understand that.
Doesn't matter.
Gravity.
Even with gravity, even if that
Guys.
really was what they think it is, it still couldn't work.
What is the definition for gravity, please?
I had it on earlier.
Doesn't matter. Like the concept of gravity is a gradual push or pull, a disequilibrium in some direction, mainly the center of mass of it all. But it's not a container. It's just a push. It's not a container.
I must correct you, Arwin. That's not the current science for what gravity is.
I don't care what the current science is.
Right, but that's not the current science.
The conceptualization of what gravity does, how it's supposed to function. It does not have a container function.
Yeah, but Aaron, we're not trying to confuse the guy, though. We're trying to help him out.
I want to know what is the explanation that when he cited without gravity that would be a problem with regards to the gas pressure. What does he mean when he says gravity, please? Not Arwin, the guy that said the comments.
I agree. Let him define it.
Who, me? Rob?
Without gravity, it'd be a problem. Yeah, that you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I see that. Without gravity, it'd be a major problem.
When you said that sentence, can you tell me what you meant by the word gravity?
Gravity, as Newton's laws describe it, two objects of mass, exert a force on each other, and the idea that all these planets and whatnot are so ginormous that it keeps everything together in a perfect state.
Okay. I get it. So, are you aware that Newton's laws of gravitation are no longer the current science? Yes. No.
Yeah. Well, I'm aware that Einstein kind of surpassed him, but Einstein's was just a theory, and it's still just
Einstein's differed from Newton's in that it was indeed acclaimed. Einstein's is a mathematical concept. No, there's no empirical testing or experimentation with Einstein's other than maths. Current science for gravity is a mathematical concept.
Anthony, stop. You're fading in and out for some reason.
I don't know why. Carry on for me, Nathan, then.
No, I don't know if you can. Is there something you can do? Maybe it sounds like a hangout problem. Can you drop and rejoin? I prefer you were making this point. Basically,
it sounds
Anthony.
like
this is your point.
Like you have a limiter on, and when you go a little quieter, the limiter takes you out.
Ah, yes, indeed. He's got it on. He's got the compression gate within the Hangout. He needs to turn it into studio mode. I've never told him to do that. Okay. That's what it'll be. Anthony, can you hear us?
Yes.
You want to just say a few words to see if you're still doing the same thing?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I think you're all right. There's
so
you need just so I don't forget. I'll keep it brief. Inside the settings, you need to change it from group to studio or something like that inside the settings for sound. Anyway, yes, the current science for gravity.
Sorry, was that aimed at me? Studio to set?
Yeah,
what was
inside
that
settings, so you can go back and look at it after the fact. You've got voice and studio. Well, if you set it to studio, it stops the compression gate that you get from the Hangout itself, because you've got a desk now. Really, I should have the same thing, but I don't seem to have an issue. But either way, yeah, that you can sort out at a later date. But in the meantime, you're on a roll and I've completely ruined your point. I'm sorry.
All right, we'll come back to that. So, when you said gravity, I'm getting feedback from someone. You said that it was Newtonian principles, but we've demonstrated that the current science is not Newtonian principles, right? It's Einsteinian. The problem is that Einsteinian's a mathematical construct. It's not a force. It's simply maths, which means in its simplest of terms, gravity's maths. Nothing
What's
more.
going on? If you're not talking, can you pop yourselves on mute? There's nothing but feedback. Just pop yourselves on mute if you're not talking.
So the problem is that gravity is mathematical according to Einstein.
Or
and that's
entirely
the current
ignore me.
science.
That would be a better idea. Just completely ignore me and don't bother putting yourselves on mute. Carry on, Anthony. This is being a shambles of your point.
So Newtonian principles for gravity are superseded by Einsteinian principles, which are mathematical in nature. There's no experimental, there's no practical, there's no anything. It's just maths. So in its simplest of simple terms, Einsteinian gravity is 2 + 2 = 4, and that's supposed to prove the gravity because that's describing the curvature of space-time. But if you look up the definition for space-time, it's a mathematical construct. And if you then look up the reification fallacy, that describes where you treat anything that's conceptual to be real world, which is exactly what we're doing right now to explain how a gas pressure can exist on the Earth without a container. Because if gravity is the explanation, it's mathematical and it's therefore reification fallacy because it's just maths. Bottom line is, maths doesn't prove that maths doesn't explain how we can have an atmosphere next to a vacuum of space. So the question then is, well, when you said before about gravity, it would be an important part if we didn't have gravity. I'm going to assert that there is no gravity if it's just maths, because that's what the current science tells us. So then I'll ask you the question back. Given that maths is basically gravity according to science, how does maths demonstrate how we can have gas pressure when we're next in a vacuum of space?
That's kind of a closed question.
Bit of maths.
Yeah. You make a good point, but I'm going to bypass that point and say that even if gravity was real, I know you don't like to presuppose that, even if it is exactly as they propose it is, Newtonian, all that, even though Einsteinian is supposed to be bypassing that, even if it is exactly what they imagine it is, what it would do is cause a slight disequilibrium push-like effect. That's not going to stop gas from, well, expanding out into the container of outer space. It might slow it down a little, but it's not a container. Gravity cannot form an edge to actually push upon. It's just going to do a gradual push over a field, presupposing that it is actually real. So even theoretically, can't work. It's a complete myth fable that it can.
All right, but when we're trying to help this guy out, right, he said two things that are very important. That number one, he realizes that gravity does not work on a helium balloon, and that's caused because of, something else, density. That's what he said, right? That, and also, if there is no proof of this gravity, then the whole vacuum next to a pressurized system is a very big problem. And I think somehow we got to try to get him to try to get it. You know what I mean? Not try to get into Arwinian craziness. You know what I mean?
It's just presupposition.
But I think he seems honest enough. Like he seems like he's trying to get it. So I want to try to help him out.
Well, I think Rob needs to. Paul needs to. Is it Rob?
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, I think Rob. How long have you been sort of researching flat Earth or heard about it?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I started about 3 years ago because I stumbled across a Facebook post, and back then there was a whole lot of ridiculousness. And it's only been in the last 6 months where I've kind of been, well, you know what? A lot of these guys are actually putting some thought into this and not just regurgitating memes like the other 90%. So then I started coming into the various hangouts and just trying to get a grasp of what different groups' ideologies were. Like I've been to the real hardcore religious groups. I've been to the ones that don't want to have the Bible mentioned. I've been to the ones that think that the Grand Canyon was mined for materials, so silicone, so they could build a glass moon in the sky. Like I've been to some real whacked out ones. Just trying to put everything together.
Well, the one that you're in now is the one where we look for proof of the globe, of this heliocentric model that we are told that we live on. Here, we look for proof of that. That's where you are right now. So if you don't understand it, we're going to try to help you out with that.
Well, actually, it's the wrong way around. We're trying to understand it, and we're hoping that you've got the answers or the proofs that we're looking for to help us, because none of us enjoy this situation. I hate it. However, we're all it's rammed down our throats every single day. And if you're on the baller side, I'd like to know what evidence that you accept.
Well, me personally, I'm just an earther in general. I could care less what shape the earth is because nothing's going to change. Like infrastructure works right now. So whether it's a ball or whether it's a pancake, everything's going to continue working. The important thing is the lies and the organizations that lied if it is indeed flat. That's what's important. Me getting to work every day won't change. You know what I mean? So I don't put much thought into the actual shape of things.
So what's your purpose then? Why are you here?
Well, like I said, just to learn. Right now, the heliocentric model has an answer for everything. And I get that they've had 500 years to put that together.
Right, but an answer for everything may or may not be right. What about proof for the things that it claims?
I agree with you there. I totally agree with you there. But at least they have answers, right? So now I'm just trying to figure out how much of their answers are indeed lies, because there's a lot. It does, even if you believe in the globe, you'd be a moron if you didn't see that the government's lying to people constantly.
Shout out to Stank for the super chat. Really appreciate it. God bless you. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Stank.
Hey, Rob.
I'm glad you're saying that, Rob. You sound somewhat decent, and you're looking for truth, and you can find a little bit of that here.
Like, I seriously believe that the moon landing was faked as a fear tactic against Russia during the Cold War, and everything just ballooned and blew up after. It's like, you know how you start a lie and you got to keep lying in order to maintain your lie? Like, I seriously think that that's part of the problem with things, you know?
So if you know a government agency is lying and has been lying for 50 years, how can you trust anything they say?
Oh, you really can't. That's, you know, that's why I laughed when everybody complained about Trump getting voted in, because he's the least likely to bullshit people, and everybody's complaining about it. You know, but yeah, but the thing is, you see, like a lot of the evidence for flat Earth is flat out wrong. Now, I'm not saying your evidence, but I'm talking on the mainstream, like in Facebook. I see so many memes that are just so blatantly wrong, and that's creating the other 99% of the world's population to look at flat Earth like it's absolutely crazy. Because
name one example, please.
The mainstream mentions flat Earth in that context exactly, and it doesn't reflect in any way on what most flat earthers are actually doing with it.
Well, one example,
they're making controlled opposition narrative as a pure ridicule tactic, as a slander tactic, and spreading that out to discourage people, to peer pressure them to stay away.
I'll give you a quick example of you know how easy it is to debunk some flat Earth claims. The P900 video where he brings the ship back over the horizon. Well, here, you know, how do you know the ship was there? Well, because he could see it. It wasn't over the horizon to begin with. And I got into conversation with somebody on Facebook about it. Yeah, well, the camera shows. So I took a picture of my fish tank from 10 feet away with my iPhone, and I said, "Where's my shrimp?" Well, I don't know. I don't see it. I zoomed in. Where's my shrimp? Oh, it's right there. I could see it the whole time. I didn't bring that shrimp back from over the horizon. It was 10 feet away from me. You can't, you know, it's easy to debunk something like that. And when that gets put on Facebook as one of the top 10 proofs that the Earth is flat, it blows the entire flat Earth model out of the water.
So when you look at the horizon, are you looking through a medium
hold on.
of
Everyone's
pure
got triggered by
liquid
what he's
water?
just said. One at a time. Arwin was first.
Right. So when you're looking at the horizon over the Earth, are you looking through or into water? Liquid water? because that is really how that works. Like,
Oh, can I
if
rephrase
you
that so that Rob can
transit
actually
a
answer,
medium,
Arwen?
it will bend the light. But yeah, when you're
Owen,
looking over
you're
the
now
Earth,
asserting stuff. You
you're
started with the
looking through
question.
gas.
You're making assertions. It was better when it was a question. So I'll rephrase it for you. Hopefully you don't disagree with my rephrasing. What do you think the horizon is, Rob?
Well, the horizon to me is where the land, the Earth, meets the sky as far as like compared to like your view distance, as far as you could see. You know what I mean? Where the 2 points meet, that's your personal horizon line.
Okay, in the heliocentric world of spheres, the horizon is the leading edge of the sphere that you can see.
Yeah, it's the top of the curve. Yeah.
Right, but what you've just described is the arbitrary point where the land meets the sky. That would be more of a perspective terminology than a physical place that you can travel to, i.e. the leading edge of a sphere that boat's going over.
Correct.
Well, the point being that in your debunking, you said, well, P900 footage, people bringing boats back from beyond the curve. Well, in your phraseology, your assertion is that they're going over the curve of the Earth in the first instance, and that when someone brings them back with a P900, they haven't actually gone over the curve of the Earth, even though you didn't say it in that terminology.
Correct. What I was saying was that boat in the first place, from the zoomed away picture where you couldn't see it, it was not over any curve at all. It would have been visible to that cameraman's eye.
Well, that's just simply not the case. But
Camera.
that's not. So if I gave you a demonstration of that not being the case, would you concede that you're wrong?
I would concede that I'm wrong if you. But how are
Okay,
you gonna show
no
that
worries.
with
Give me
standing
2
beside me
minutes.
and pointing?
No worries. Give me 2
Go
minutes.
through the footage. We got
Talk
lots
amongst
of footage
yourselves.
here.
I'll go and get the footage. I'll show you.
Yeah, but that's the problem. The footage is the problem. Cameras don't see how we see. That's the point I'm trying to make. You
Yeah,
can
they
take
see
a picture-
better. They see better.
Yeah, but you can take a picture zoomed out and not see things that are there. And then as soon as you zoom in, you can see them. Like you go down the street.
Hold on. I've got a way to get a video. That's completely the contrary of what you've just asserted. So I'm going to get a video that's going to back what you've just said, which is in complete opposition of what you've just asserted 2 minutes ago. So which one is it? It is there to your naked eye and was always there, or isn't there to your naked eye and can be brought back by a P900, completely in contradiction to what you've just asserted?
It is there to the naked eye.
It is. So it is there to the cameraman's eye, and then the zoom is bringing back something that he could see anyway. That was your original assertion. You're sticking by that now.
Hey, Rob.
So it's
a
not
while-
going over a curve. Then you will have to concede that
Hey, Rob.
because
a
it's
while
just
back,
there.
A while back, you were saying that you started looking into this 3 years ago, and there was a lot of fantastical ideas from the flat Earth side. But in the past 6 months, you've found that people are using a lot more science-based proof to prove the flat Earth side. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, and I would
Okay.
also say they're a lot more level-headed in some of these hangouts.
Yes, and you found the source. The flat Earth debate is the reason why that's happening. When you hear people say the Earth is obviously and observably flat, you can't have gas pressure without a container, that's because of this channel. That's because of Nathan Oakley that these terms are being thrown around and promoted, I guess you can say. So it's great
Rob,
that you're here. It's
Rob,
great
can
that
I
you're
just ask?
here.
Have you heard the phrase "dirty air"?
Yeah.
Dirty air?
Okay, maybe not. I was just testing. Carry on.
That's okay. That's
Optical
okay.
slants.
I mean, you're in this channel already, and so this question that you're asking about the P900 and distance and all this stuff, when Ranty Flat Earth, he's a guy with a camera that comes in here and he shows great footage and great proofs of flat Earth, you'll get all these questions answered. So just be patient, and don't just ask 3-year-old questions and think that they still stand, because there may be an answer, and probably is.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm surrounded by water, so I see mirages all the time. And
Rob,
yes,
can I ask you a question, Rob?
yeah,
When people say they see boats go over the horizon, where do you think that comes from? Like, how long do you think people have been saying that?
since boats were invented, I guess.
Right. So back then, when boats were invented, did we have the same technology that we have now?
No, I think they had like cardboard. What were they? Monoculars or monoscopes or something. Made
Right.
out of-
Either way, back then they didn't have P900s and P1000s, right?
Right.
Okay. So back then, they were looking at boats with obviously the only optics they had, which is whatever monocle or whatever, and their eyes. So when they were able to see boats, and they saw these boats go over the supposed quote unquote curvature, they didn't have a way to bring these things back. They didn't have a way to magnify what they're seeing, right? So they went under the assumption that, yeah, that boat has to be going over some curve because it's disappearing bottom up. Well, today, we can see, if we look with our eyes, we can see a boat going over what's supposed to be curvature, right? Or into the horizon. But now we have the technology to bring that boat back.
Not according to this guy.
understand?
So that was why I went and got this video. According to Rob, if you can see a boat, you can see a boat. It doesn't matter if you've got zoom or not. So please, can you identify where the boat is on this horizon, please?
Well, that was exactly what I was saying. There's things that a camera won't pick up at distance if you're not zoomed in.
Excuse me, that's not what you said, you double-speaking asshole. You said if you can... I clarified this with you. Why are you now lying? You're going to piss me off real fast, Rob.
I clarified it. I'm saying you.
I clarified it. You said if you can see it, you can see it.
Yes.
So it's not gone. You can see it with your eyes and you can see it with the camera. So, where is it?
If you were standing there, you'd be able to see it with your eyes.
Oh, so that's an argument from ignorance. How are you going to demonstrate that?
Exactly my point.
Oh, so your argument is unprovable. I have to go inside your head and experience your bloody eyeballs to make your point work. So we'll ignore the need to possess each other's bodies then, and we'll go to the footage, which I did clarify.
Go ahead.
It's on screen. I'm asking you to identify where the boat is. You said that they're not bringing boats back. They were there anyway. That was your point.
Yeah.
Right, so where is it? He's not bringing it back. It's there anyway. That's your point. So where is it then?
You're not gonna see it in the picture. You don't see what in the same in a picture as you would see with your naked eye if you're standing there looking out over the water.
Yeah, I would agree. I would argue that the diffraction limit of a camera, something like a P900, is significantly better than your eyes. So regardless of whether or not he's zoomed, he's got a bigger aperture. The diffraction limit is bigger. So do you know what a diffraction limit is? When you're asserting that you can see more with your tiny little eyeballs than the massive lens of a P900 when it's not zoomed in. Is that what you're asserting incorrectly? Because you're wrong.
That's what I'm asserting.
So you are asserting that your eyeballs are better than a P900 with a larger aperture. You're just wrong.
Yes.
Well, you're wrong. What's a diffraction limit?
I don't know what a diffraction limit is.
Oh, this would be the limit that dictates how far your bloody eyeballs could see. So your faith in how far your eyeballs can see has a measure, the diffraction limit. It's based on the aperture of your eyeball, or a camera, or a pair of binoculars. You have no slightest, vaguest clue what this is, but you're going to declare that if this was being visualised with your eyes, you'd see further. You're wrong. Second time I've said it.
Okay, so zoom the picture in.
Right, you haven't identified where the boat that's always there is, with this bigger aperture camera than your eyeballs, giving it the biggest fighting chance of being there. But we can't see it, contrary to your point. So when you say they're not bringing boats back from beyond the horizon, where is it then? If it's not beyond the horizon, show it me. Because he's not going to bring it back, is he? According to you.
Well, the camera, he's not bringing it back. He's zooming in on the boat that's there.
So where is it then? If it's there, show it me. This is your point, getting smashed to pieces, and you keep going round in circles. So he's not bringing it back because it's already there. Yeah, we got it the first and second time I clarified. Now I get it again. Where is it then?
Right there on the horizon.
Point at it. Tell me where.
I ain't even pointing at it.
Rob, just be honest, man. Just be honest. Just answer the question honestly.
It's not about being honest. He's wrong. He just won't accept it.
Well, if it ain't dead center in the picture, then the guy just got lucky. I don't know.
No, this happens millions of times over. There are literally tens of thousands of videos of quote-unquote people bringing boats back from beyond the horizon. Something you have declared on this show is not possible. Now I'm getting you to back your assertion. It took me 30 seconds to find this video, with my kid climbing on me and whilst running a show. Still no sign of this boat then. So where's the concession that you're just talking nonsense? You can bring boats back from beyond the horizon.
So what you're telling me is whoever took this video just got lucky and there happened to be a boat there? Is that what
Did you not listen to what I said literally 30 seconds ago? I'll say it again, because you're deaf. There are tens of thousands of examples like this one of people bringing boats back from beyond the horizon. Something you have said is not possible. You are wrong, but you still won't concede it.
I'm not going to concede it because there's billions of people with cameras in their pockets that can go to their front yard, take a picture down the street, not see their neighbor's dog 6 houses down, but if they zoomed in, see their dog.
That's the opposite of the point you're making. That's the very opposite of the point you have made. So you're now reversing your point to my point. No, asshole. You made it clear people don't bring boats back from the horizon. They're already there.
I was saying. They're there, yeah.
Rob, can I try real quick?
Really so they are there. So point at it then. Are we going to do this all day, are we, Rob? With your mental incapacity stopping you from realising that you're wrong? If they're always there, as you assert, and they're not being brought back with Zoom, then where is it?
If the camera was focused on the boat, you'd probably be able to see it.
Oh, my bad. Does this look out of focus? Does this look out of focus to anybody? This is a Taboo conspiracy video. He's pretty adept with his camera. I'm pretty sure this is in focus.
If the focal point is the end of that point, and the boat's 10 miles past that, then, you know, when you take a portrait picture and the person in front of you is really crystal clear, but the tree in the background's blurry, you're looking at the same issue. You got to focus on the subject and then ask me. Ask me where the boat is when the cameraman focuses on the boat instead of on that rock point.
Okay, Rob.
So, hold on. So now you're shifting the goalposts to focus.
Yeah, because if it's not in focus, everything blurs out.
It's not in focus. It's in focus. I can see it's in focus. Anybody on the panel think this is out of focus?
No.
Nope. This is zoomed.
Perfect.
It is zoomed
I see
in.
what you're saying. It is a little bit blurry.
Nathan, this is zoomed in, right?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for this boat that can't be brought back, according to Rob. Because obviously it's got to be there. He's not bringing it back by zooming in.
That point as the camera zooms in, that I can't see from this distance in the picture.
Oh, so it's gone then. So it has, quote unquote, gone beyond the horizon. And what it's about to do is, quote, bring it back from beyond the horizon. Is that correct?
No, it's just going to zoom in on the boat that's there. That
What
has
boat?
not gone
You keep saying it's there, Rob. You stupid idiot. Where is it then? You're going to tell me it's out of focus again? It's not there, Rob. That's the point. You don't seem to be getting it. We've gone round this about 4 times now. Does your pride hurt, Rob? Is this a pride issue?
Not at all.
Well, then why won't you concede that people can absolutely bring back things from beyond the horizon then? Pride stopping you?
Yep.
Rob, here's a question. How far out on the horizon, if it's there or not there, should it disappear? How far out should it go when it disappears?
Oh, there it is.
Rob?
Did you hear my question?
How at what distance should it disappear? Is that what you're asking?
Hello, the divine plane. How you doing?
Yeah, how far out should
Hold on
it
one second.
disappear? Like,
Hold on,
go
hold
over
on.
the-
Got a new
over the
guest.
horizon.
Can I just say hello to the new guest? Hello, Divine Plane. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello, very good to have you.
Hey, I shot the footage.
Is it? Oh, is that Ben?
Divine Plane, Andy.
Oh, is this a mirror? My bad.
Yeah, no worries. He had some questions about distances, so I thought, why not clear it up?
I thought this was taboo conspiracies. Sorry, it's a mirror.
You shot the footage, correct?
Yeah, I shot the footage.
So you just got lucky and zoomed directly in on a boat? Is that what happened?
I get lucky every day. It's flat every day.
Well, that's why I think it's irrelevant to ask that question to Rob. Is at what point should that boat disappear? Like, at what distance would that boat not be visible? He needs to answer that question. We already have the answer, but he needs to answer that question.
Yeah, but no, that's not. We're getting we're kind of straying here, because I'm not trying to say that the Earth is round or flat. I'm trying to say that when you're looking at out over that water with that camera fully zoomed out, so you can see the widest shot possible, there's going to be things that you're not going to see in the picture until you zoom in. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm arguing.
Do you know why that is?
Here's the thing,
The gentleman who shot that video that was just shown, I believe that he could see that boat with his own eyes.
The boat was a pinprick way out on the horizon. You could not tell that it was a boat, or you didn't know what it was. It was just something there. You couldn't make it out. So I took out the camera.
Thank you.
Yeah, but do you know why that is?
But Rob, you see
It actually has to do with angular resolution.
But he just admitted that the boat hadn't disappeared over the horizon at all. He could see something. It was just too far for him to make out what it was.
That's really nice. Sorry, Rob, do you realise that that's our point? That things don't go over the horizon? You've been arguing a flat Earth point this entire time. You do realise that, don't you?
But what I'm saying is, clearly the gentleman who took that video wasn't able to suggest that it might be gone over the horizon because he could see it. If he couldn't see anything
that's so beautifully put. I love that. When a globe head puts our point so eloquently. That's right. The boats don't go over the curve. Correct. Well done.
I agree.
That was my point.
So, can I just ask, given that the boat, now we've established that the boat was a pinprick on the horizon, how much curvature would there need to be at that distance to get rid of a pinprick?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm almost more interested to see.
Not very much.
Let
me do it for you. It's not very much to get rid of a pinprick. Why wasn't the pinprick missing completely because of the curve?
Would he have seen that pinprick from 20 feet lower or down at beach level?
Waves would probably obstruct it if he gets too low. But my question still stands. How much further does that boat need to go before a pinprick disappears behind the actual curve? Because you can see he's pretty far out, right? I don't know exactly how far, but he's definitely more than a few miles. So how much curve do we need to make a pinprick on the horizon disappear?
Well, with the heliocentric model, your viewing height and the distance, they're all variables, right? You need a lot less distance if you're at sea level than if you're 40 feet in the air, right? So, I don't know.
How tall was he in the air when he took the footage?
77 meters, 38 kilometers out. Should have been 3.5 meters of curvature. We could see down to the water of the boat.
So what's going wrong there then with your variables?
Who are you asking? You want to be clear about that. Who are you asking?
Same guy I was back and forth with.
Rob?
Rob, you still there?
Oh, Rob, what was wrong with the variables then? He gave his height, he gave the distance. Boat shouldn't be seen.
Well, at least the bottom 3.5 meters of the boat, and we saw down to the water line. Silence is usually the response I get.
3.5 meters is what? Going to be about 369. It's going to be about 10, 11 feet. Two blokes.
Yeah, 10, 11 feet. You shouldn't see most of the Outermost Ferry sign on the side of the boat.
Go on, Rob. What's the explanation for that?
Has he left?
No.
Silence! I kill you!
Well, while it's hanging out there, it's because the Earth is obviously and observably flat.
He just left the group. He's
Yep.
just gone.
He'll
Could
be
be
back. He did
connection
drop once
problems,
before.
though.
Unless someone wants to steal his place, there is now a gap on the panel. Yeah, it's because Earth's flat. There is no curve. It's not going over the horizon. Shout out to Midi HC. Boats over the horizon, question mark. That ship sailed a long time ago. Indeedy. Shout out for the super chat. Thanks, Midi HC.
I was kind of trying to get him to see. I'm sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
I was just saying, for the last couple of years, they've been smashing it pretty heavily.
Smashing what?
That the boats don't go over the horizon. That's what you guys have been doing.
Yeah, they don't.
But I think that's the part that kind of fooled him. Is that I think that's one of the reasons why he said this is one of those proofs that to him has been debunked. Because I think he understands the point that if something has gone over the horizon, it can't be brought back because there's Earth curve in between you and the camera. So that can't be seen. So I think the very fact that boats are able to be brought back is what's messing with him, and he can't understand that these boats weren't disappearing over curvature in the first place. They're just disappearing off into the horizon. But because of, this story of boats have been, disappearing over curve for centuries and, all these years, it's something that gets stuck in people's heads. So I was kind of trying to help him to see it, but
Nathan, I just noticed something too about this dialogue. This might be a way to kind of listen. If you let them, sometimes they start making the argument for you, and if you, I know you started going after him, which is good, but he started making the argument for you instead of, okay, let's back up and said, you hear what you're saying, and because I noticed that a lot, and even with what Anthony was doing with that video on the tank, they started making the argument for us, and just let them dig their own hole. And I think it's something that in their mind it's almost like they're trying to rationalize it, but it's the truth bubbling to the surface without them even realizing it.
You know who the very best example of that is, Paul?
Do what now? Say that again.
There's one absolutely epic example of that. Conspiracy cats. So I ask him the same question 350 times. Eventually he goes on Arwen's show and basically makes our argument for us.
You just got to give them a shovel.
They give them enough rope to hang themselves, basically.
Don't plan to, but they just do it by accident.
I think it's their logical mind trying to come up with it, and it's taking them in the direction we've been trying to say.
They're so used to creating deviations and red herrings and bypassing arguments that once they actually get to a spot where they kind of feel comfortable, they may accidentally just talk the truth and not even realize it. Like accidentally, and not even realize, they just talk the truth and they're not used to it, but it comes natural because it kind of does if you actually speak the truth. And then, they accidentally just shoot themselves in the foot. I've seen it happen many times.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I see it in a lot of things. That's one thing when I get in debates with people, the biggest thing I try to do is listen, because I think sometimes in the very listening process, I'm in sales too, and that's something else I guess I've had to learn too. If you listen long enough, you will get what you need to make the sale. And I think if you listen long enough, even in somebody's own argument, you can find what you need to undermine the very thing that they're saying if you listen. You know what I mean?
I'm going to do a quick plug. So the guy who's just in the chat is called The Divine Plane, and I'm going to stick his link into the live chat right now. So if you're in the live chat, go and subscribe to The Divine Plane, because it's ace. But yeah, just to reiterate exactly what you were saying, Paul, they seem to be making our arguments for us better and better and better as time goes by, trying to address some of the housekeeping questions, which is great. Might take 350 times asking the same question and being told that you've got to debate for charity, but eventually you get to the point where they support your argument.
Right, exactly.
Are we going to finish housekeeping?
About 5 minutes left on the live stream, so if anybody's got anything pertinent to say, we've got about 230 people watching this live stream. Woohoo!
Yeah, well, I thought I may just have found some new proof for the molten iron core from Princeton University.
No way. Oh,
yeah.
Great, let's hear it.
All right, I'll present it.
Cool.
Just
Yeah,
take
let me
a
know
look
when
at
you're
my
ready.
screen. Right, so this came out February 14. I got it through via a alternative media site, and it was about, they discovered that there's actually mountains 660 kilometers below our feet. And then they show us this model of it. And so apparently they figured out, oh, look, below the molten upper layer, there is a mountainous range, and they scanned it, and so yeah, there it is. See, it's the updated molten iron core proof.
Where?
Well, what's that gap that they're saying that gap is?
It's
in
like
there?
here, look, a real geophysicist worked on it, and it's like really big.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Worked on what? Where's the proof?
I think this is it. This little rock this
bush
woman is
pig?
holding.
That's
I'm not
not
sure. It's a
not
big
proof.
article. You should definitely look into it. But hey, it was from Princeton University, you know, so makes so much sense that they have proof there is a mountain 660 kilometers deep. Well, in practicality, nobody's ever dug deeper than 14 kilometers. So fascinating how they know this.
Excellent note to probably round out this live stream. So unfortunately for all of you watching in the live audience, it is time for us to bid farewell. And I will say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this live debate. Also, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. If you're watching in the live audience, go to nathanoakley.com and check out the forum, join and take part in the community flat earth debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
To add even more presuppositional elements to it. If you guys want that link, I did post it in the Master B chat, I think. I'll post it here in the side chat if you want to take a look.
Inside chat, yeah, that'd be nice.
Right.
Thanks, Arwin.
It's
That was
there.
ace. Good way to round out the live show.
Yeah, I thought so.
I kill the live shows now, so I started doing this when I was doing it on the Flat Earth Debate channel. So that show that's just gone out live on Nathan Oakley is now dead. In other words, I kill it. So at 5 p.m. UK time, approximately an hour after the live show finishes, the pre and after show number 1 from that day will go out on Nathan Oakley 1980. So in other words, an hour from now, obviously this makes no sense if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980 because the time's completely off. But for us right here, right now, an hour from now, the first show that we just did will go out. And then what I intend to do is put the second show out about 4, maybe 6 hours later. So probably around midnight. So there's going to be considerably less shows than there was, which is good because it means my life is so much easier now. But there we go. So if you're wondering where the shows go, they get turned off once they've gone live. So if you want to actually watch live, that's the bit that's relevant to the Nathan Oakley 1980 audience. If you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980 and you go, I would like to watch this live, go to the info box. There's a link to the second channel, which is just called Nathan Oakley, and the shows will be live and then dead. In other words, if you do not watch it live, you can only watch the one that's on Nathan Oakley 1980 at either 5 p.m. or 11 p.m, midnight, whatever it may be. Because I know you're really excited about the schedule, people on the panel who couldn't care less once the live show's over.
Yeah.
240 people were watching that.
No
What's
way.
your highest so far?
Yeah, I was as amazed as you, Anthony. 240 people.
You're almost at the regular numbers from before.
They can only improve because that's on the second channel, so that's got around 3,000 subscribers, whereas the main channel's knocking on for 14,000 subscribers. So, you know, come March, I'll be live on there, and again, my workload will drop by another third because it's still, you know, I've still got to do stuff after the show and mirror it onto the main channel and all that kind of stuff, which is still a pain. But yeah, come March, it'll just be live on the main channel, and then I don't have to do anything. I don't have to turn anything off or on again, or, you know, I can mirror it at my convenience just so I've got a backup copy of it.
When is that happening?
So
March.
Oh, yeah. By the way,
Mid-March.
guys, can I read one piece of this article?
Yeah, just give me a sec. I'll stick it on, Owen. Hold on. Go
not
ahead.
sure if I'm presenting.
Yeah, you're on.
It's
You're
just
on.
like what it means. Am I still presenting my screen?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are. You're right.
Right. What it means. Let me see if I can zoom in. No, I can't zoom in. Oh shit. Right. What it means. The presence of roughness on the 616-kilometer boundary has significant implications for understanding how our planet formed and continues to function. That layer divides the mantle, which makes up about 84% of the Earth's volume, into its upper and lower sections. For years, geoscientists have debated just how important that boundary is. In particular, they have investigated how heat travels through the mantle, whether hot rocks are carried smoothly from the core mantle boundary almost 2,000 miles down all the way up to the top of the mantle, or whether that transfer is interrupted at this layer. Some geochemical and mineralogical evidence suggests that the upper and lower mantle are chemically different, which supports the idea that the two sections don't mix thermally or physically. Other observations suggest no chemical difference between the upper and lower mantle, leading some to argue for what is called a well-mixed mantle, with both the upper and lower mantle participating in the same heat transfer cycle.
Yeah, I was
Isn't that beautiful?
actually go back up. I want to show you something. I'm looking at the article. Go back up. It's go slow, right there. Stop right there. If you read right there in the center, it says the Tiger supercomputer cluster.
All right.
It's all done by
Seismologists
computer.
and data scientists used powerful computers, including Princeton's Tiger supercomputer cluster, to simulate the complicated behavior of scattering waves in the deep Earth.
So, if you put
So
it-
they
if you put
didn't
all-
actually do physical, real-life wave scans. They actually made a simulation of a presupposed spherical Earth with molten iron core as they conceive it, and then did the tests on that.
on the computer, no less.
That's I didn't even see that one.
How
So they didn't
beautiful is
even
that?
actually do scans. That's
So
just ridiculous.
they tell you right in the text, we haven't actually tested anything. We've created a simulation, tested that, and now we're reifying that creation that we've put into a computer as your Earth that you live on. So it's by definition a reification fallacy. They haven't tested a damn thing. It's just like the Boltzmann principle.
It's just crazy.
That's kind of what geologists do nowadays. I mean, I've seen that when I talk to my ex-girlfriend, she's all the time in front of the computer and tests the model and looks how it fits. So yeah, that's geology. But I don't have a problem with that, to be honest.
I just want to read out this title for a moment. Somebody made a statement. "You want a big, deep earthquake to get the whole planet to shake," said Irving, an assistant professor of geosciences. Ooh. It's just... What is even geosciences? It kind of sounds like globe priest to me.
Zender, you said you don't have a problem with computer simulations, right? Is that what you just said? You don't have a problem with it?
Oh, no, they are kind of useful, I think, so I don't have a problem with computer simulations as long as they get fed with real-world data. I think then there isn't a huge problem. But that's kind of...
if you don't have all the data, computer simulation won't be accurate.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, there won't.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to read the etymology. So it says, in quotes, "Science of the past and present condition of Earth's crust." Sorry, this is geology. From modern Latin, geologia, in quotes, "the study of the Earth," end quotes. From geo, meaning Earth, and logia, see logi, German logi, is asserted in 1875, medieval Latin, geologica, which is meant the study of earthly things, i.e. the law distinguished from the arts and sciences. So it's the study of earthly things, or the study of Earth, or the logic of Earth. So none of the description of the origins of the meaning of that word, geology, have anything to do with computer simulations and everything to do with the Earth itself.
Yeah, you make a very good point there.
And also, if you have a starting presupposition that's incorrect, then if you put that starting presupposition in wrong, even if it's automatically wrong all the way, everything else that follows is wrong. Even the data you could be putting in after the initial presupposition could be right, all the data going in, but if the initial presupposition is wrong, the whole data can be corrupted at that point. Right?
Yeah, but like Zinder just said, though, he doesn't have a problem with it as long as it's based on real world data. Well, the core is what, 4,000 miles down? We've dug what, 8? So how much real world data would be in anything, any simulation of the molten iron core?
Well, what they supposedly have done here, apparently, is, yeah, taken seismic measurements and then trying to back engineer, presupposing the spherical Earth, in how those patterns must have come into being. And that, yeah, it's reflected here. We know that almost all objects have surface roughness and therefore scatter light. So blah, 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 blah. That's why we can see these objects. The scattering waves carry the information about the surface roughness. In this study, we investigated scattered seismic waves traveling inside the Earth to contain the roughness, the Earth's 660-kilometer boundary. So it's all, they did something, and then they presupposed that it should be a sphere, and then based all these models on that presupposition. It's weird. Like, they might have actually been onto some real information if they hadn't presupposed a spherical Earth. Might be interesting. Maybe really deep down there are giant mountainous-sized caverns. Who knows what they really stumbled upon with their seismic scans, basically. But yeah, because they presuppose it's a molten iron core in a spherical Earth, they end up with this thing. It's just amazing how this works.
Seems the BBC have just covered YouTube's assistance in people now believing that the Earth is flat. So it's under BBC News and Technology. YouTube aids flat Earth conspiracy theorists, research suggests. YouTube is playing a significant role in convincing some people that the Earth is flat, research suggests. A study quizzed people at the Flat Earth conferences and found that most cited videos viewed on the site as a key influence. They were won over by the videos which claimed to amass evidence proving the Earth was not a spherical planet. It goes on. So that's BBC News and Technology. Came out 3 hours
to be honest,
ago.
They're
I'm
actually
with you.
making counter-propaganda departments.
Well, I
They're
gotta say,
officially
isn't
going to
that
counter
cute?
the narrative. I'm very curious what they're gonna come up with, and I certainly hope it's better than like people like Mick West and everything, because that didn't really work out. Yeah, might be worthwhile to keep track of that new agency development.
Just so it's got reference, Arwin, if I send it to you, can you? I've just got it on my iPad, which is why I need to send it to you. Can you not chuck a balloon at my microphone?
Okay, I'll not chuck up a balloon. Up
No, not you.
Oh.
Can you pop it on screen? I've just sent it you on Skype.
Sure.
Just can't pull it up from my iPad, basically. Shout out to my sister for sending me that. Welcome back, Zinda. You didn't get a hello the first time. I didn't see you join. Thanks,
no
Arwin.
problem.
There you go. There's the article, just so you can actually see it does exist.
Got some issues with the connection, but never mind.
The only tool we have to battle misinformation is to try and overwhelm it with better information. Yeah. Huh. Oh, here they actually have some kind of a point. Believing the Earth is flat is of itself not necessarily harmful, but it comes packaged with a distrust in institutions and authority more generally. That's right, because you're liars.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? You know, loads of people have said this on YouTube videos, as that's their point, which is to say that when someone like Rob says it makes no difference, life goes on. No. If people realise that they've been lied to at the most fundamental level about where they live, people get a bit fussy about it. And say to themselves, what else have I been lied to about? What else have they told me is true that I don't now need to, or maybe now need to look at? People start to question things. Not what you need if you're in power. You're in the business of keeping people under control.
There's a double speak that people don't even realize they're doing, though. If you asked anybody, just an ordinary person on the street, I don't care where it is, within the UK, here in the US, should and do you trust the government? What's their typical answer probably going to be? No.
Well, let's start with politicians.
Well, I mean,
You know, even the most basic of mainliners, in general, do not trust politicians. That's a clear sign by its own. And if the mainline doesn't even trust that, then why is the rest trusting everything else?
Right.
When they rule us.
But the problem is that they'll be the first to say, oh, I don't trust politicians, I don't trust the government. And then when you tell them, well, there's a possibility they might be lying to you about the shape of the Earth. Oh, why would they lie about that?
Exactly. That was my
guys.
That was my point. I mean, it's almost like it's a convenient truth, you know, or we want to trust the government when it's convenient for us, but when you show that they can't be trusted at any level, you know, or I mean, at what level can you trust them You know, if anything comes into doubt, then the whole thing falls apart. You know, I think that's the thing. Go ahead.
That shows you the magnitude of the lie. That's what gets people. It's the magnitude of it. People don't want to believe that their entire world paradigm has been falsified to them. You know, has been falsely told to them. They don't want to believe that, and I get it because I didn't want to believe it either. Even though I had problems with that very model, I didn't want to believe it. You know, I had to wrestle with it. Like, is it really, like, is this really what's going on? Like, have I really been lied to from the moment I got into school, from the moment I was shown a globe? Has this really been just bullshit? And people wrestle with that.
The saying, you know? it's easier to lie to somebody than to convince them that they've been lied to.
Exactly. Exactly.
It was a good show, but I really got to get.
Can you just do it? Sorry, can I just do a sound check on Zinder?
Anyway, I gotta go, guys. So see you tomorrow.
Hi, Owen.
And in the evening, probably in chats.
See ya.
All right, brother. See you later.
Did it seem any
different?
different?
Still here.
Did it seem any different doing it on the bigger channel than on the tiny little channel without anybody watching?
What channel was it on?
That was on Nathan Oakley channel, so that went out live, and I don't have to mirror it onto that channel now. It's there, although it's not because I turn it off. But you know what I mean. I've got a backup of the live stream.
Cool. So your workload's now cut down by a third.
Exactly.
Good. So I guess when's the next landmark then? When do you get 1980 back?
That comes back in March. I mean, that's an unrelated issue. That's down to a community guideline strike, so that's something unrelated. But yeah, essentially, I'm almost back to normal now. I'm back to the state before anything happened, which is to say, I'm streaming on the second channel, Nathan Oakley, and then mirroring it on the main channel. But you know, things will go completely back to normal in March.
So what were they saying that you did? The community guideline strike. So what were you?
Community guideline strike was for a 3-year-old video that was called, I think it was called "Mechanics of the Fourth Wall: False Flags and Hoaxes." So you can imagine what the topic was.
Oh, okay.
That basically it was always touch and go. It was on the fringe of the community guidelines to begin with. I just thought I'd winged it and got away with it because the video was really old, but I hadn't. You know, it breached community guidelines and it was a fair cop.
Yeah, I'm sure the trolls did their homework.
Maybe I have nothing to do with the trolls.
I mean, possibly, but all of that happening at the same time, it's a little coincidental.
The timing was pretty, close together. It was within about a week, so maybe. But I don't know. I don't want to speculate. Hey, Eric.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. Cool.
What's up, Eric?
Hello. I didn't think you guys would still be going.
Well, this is being recorded, so this is the after show. Got about maybe five or 6 minutes left of the after show, I would say.
All right. I don't know if this is interrupting anything, but I had some things to say about. I don't know if anybody saw the debate between Godless Engineer and Red Pill Philosophy.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't, but go
on. So there was one glaring logical mishap that Godless Engineer, I don't know his real name, but he said that we can observe things going over the horizon and keeping their angular size. And I was just like, wait a minute. The definition of things going over the horizon, they have to, by necessity, get further away. It's impossible for things to get further away without decreasing in their angular size. So So it's just kind of ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous, but it's an excellent point, Eric. And the reason they do it is the same reason they think or misrepresent that we should see forever on a flat plane. They don't account for angular size reduction. So in their mathematics, I say this all the time, a 10-foot wall is a 10-foot wall, whether it's 2 inches away from your nose or 4,000 miles away. It's still a 10-foot wall. And when you draw it in Muppet vision, it's still visible. You just draw a line from your eye to that 10-foot wall, miles and miles and miles away. Because they don't account for angular size change. So when someone like Godless Engineer states it like it's some sort of proof and assertion of his argument, or affirmation of his argument, it's because he actually thinks things don't change in angular size as they go into the distance. They only go over Earth curve because that's all his mathematics says happens. It's so beautiful when that happens. So you actually think, Godless Engineer, you complete retard, that things don't get smaller as they go further into the distance. Why? Because your math says that what happens. They blame it on R.
Well, I actually figured out that there's this website called sizekelk.com, and you can estimate the angular size of things. A 4-foot wave at about 3/4 of a mile away is about the same size as a 32-foot boat from 6 miles away. So that is an example of how something very, much smaller, closer, can obstruct things from the bottom up. It would start from the bottom up because, that's just the way it would work. And that's just angular size. We're not talking about refraction or any of that stuff.
Yep, and it is entirely and completely hijacked the effect you've just described of something in the near foreground obscuring something in the far distance. All of the effects of angular size reduction at distance have been co-opted, hijacked, and called Earth curve. So that's how they see it. These morons who think there is actually Earth curve obstruction when they assume Earth is a sphere and has a radius value, and then apply the mathematics which ignores all aspects of perspective and blames all aspects of perspective on Earth curve. So in his mind, because it's not there in the mathematics, because it's not accounted for, it doesn't happen. Hello, Shane. Oh, we've got a troll that's going to snipe us out maybe in the after show. If he does, this will be where we end.
Yeah, I think Red Pill did a pretty good job of showing everybody that this godless engineer guy didn't really know what he was talking about.
Yep. Hello, Shane. Can you hear us? Lone Star?
Howdy.
Good to have you.
Good to be here.
Shapes the Earth, Shane.
What's going on?
Shapes the Earth.
Shapes the Earth. I've never seen it from the outside. I can't say for sure.
Show.
Sounds like Kosho, yeah.
What's going on, you guys?
Cosine. What's up, Cosine?
Hey, Cosine.
How you guys doing?
What are you doing lurking in the background?
I just joined.
Oh, it's after the show. I wouldn't have thought you'd have been joining at all. You were going to join. I would have thought you'd have joined whilst we were live.
Yeah, somebody posted the link and said, I don't know, I guess they said you guys post the show afterwards, like it doesn't go live, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, this is what we call the after show when it goes out to the audience, correct? Just a quick question, Kosho, or whatever your name is. You said, I haven't seen it from outside. What did you mean by that?
Oh, I just mean I've never been up there and seen it for myself, but that's not to say that I don't have evidence either way. I just it's a good way to be more diplomatic about it.
No, maybe you didn't hear what I said. The word you used in quotes was outside.
Uh-huh.
I wondered what you meant by that specific word, which is why I asked you what you meant by outside, and then you just ignored me like you hadn't said it. But I've now put it in quotes.
Okay, fair enough. It'd be like if I was in a truck or something, or a trailer home. I've never seen the outside of it. I could know a bunch of different things about it from what I can determine from the inside, but really without being outside of it and seeing it from a further perspective, all I have is conjecture and built up evidence.
I still don't understand. Outside what? What are we inside in your mind?
Oh, if we were on a sphere, I'd say inside the system that is the Earth. It really would be on the outside of the Earth within the atmosphere, but within the system.
Inside a system?
That's right.
But the system that your globe Earth is open. It's not a closed. We're not inside a system. It's open.
Yeah, I've heard someone else say this. I think it depends on how you're describing it. When you're talking about,
you've heard someone else say this. That is what we live in, regardless of someone else.
It's an easy thing to clarify.
No,
do you
I've
believe men
heard
have been
someone
to?
else
Do you believe men have
confused
been
by
to the moon? Do you think men have been to the moon?
Actually, I was thinking about that this morning, and
it's just
there
a
was
yes
time
or
when
no
I
question.
didn't,
I don't
but
want your musings on it. Just yes or no. Have we been to the moon
I'm
according to
fairly
you? Yes or no?
convinced now. Yeah, I'm fairly convinced now that there's no reason for me to think that they haven't.
So it's an open system that they can leave Earth.
Mm-hmm. It's a closed system as far as matter is concerned.
I'm still confused, Kocho.
Yes.
I'm still confused. You said outside and then described getting outside of a van. Something that's like a closed system. The van being closed with doors and a ceiling and a roof. Now you're describing an Earth that has men travelling across an open space. Not closed, not outside. So that's where my confusion lies. Do you understand that, right?
Okay. Yeah, sure. But these are just strictly scientific terms. They're not.
No, they're not.
The...
No. You see, that's just nonsense. You see, you're saying we're going outside of something that's an open system. Well, that contradicts itself, which is why I'm trying to get clarity.
Well, I never said it was an open system. That's the issue.
So we're not going to the moon then?
Well, you don't need it to be an open system to leave.
Oh, yeah, you do. Because if it was closed, we wouldn't leave. We wouldn't be able to go outside of something that's already open. We're already outside. If I'm standing in a field, I don't go outside. I'm already outside. So that's why I tried to get clarity from you. We're in an open system according to your bullshit of space, a vacuum. Yeah, I'm still talking. I'm still talking, my friend. System. Yeah, that would mean you don't talk. I don't know how you behave on other people's shows, but on this show, when I talk, you listen. So, according to you, it's an open system with men travelling into the vacuum of space from the gas pressure. That's what you believe. It's nonsense, but that's what you believe.
It's not.
Not what?
It's not what I believe. I've tried saying that a few times now. It's
so
not
men
an open
haven't
system.
been to the moon.
It's a closed system.
It's closed, so we can't travel to the moon.
It's a closed system that you can leave if you try hard enough.
Sorry, that's a contradiction. If it's closed, it's closed. If it's open, then you can leave.
Mm-hmm. It's not as strict as you're making it seem.
Unless you're trying to say we have keys or something that we can use to open it and close it and just leave when we want and close the door.
Like
that's what it sounds like.
Like a living.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same if you were on a ship, like a giant cruise ship. You can't leave willy-nilly, but if you had a little jet ski, you were privy to a jet ski, you'd be able to go down there, get on that jet ski, and leave and come back.
That's
but
fascinating.
It's a
I was
system.
talking about travelling to the moon from this system that you said you needed to get outside of. There's still that glaring contradiction there, Kosho. You think you need to go outside of something that's already open.
It's not already open. It's open
So it's
in terms of
closed.
energy, but
So it's
for every
closed.
other...
So we've got this contradiction still. So it's not open. That would be closed. So men not travelling to the moon then.
No, but you're saying that because it's closed, that means that no one can leave. But that's
Yeah,
not
that's
what it
what
means.
closed means. Do you need me to define the word closed? So if I've got a closed... Shut up! If I've got a closed jail, does that mean you can walk out of it freely?
Yeah, if you want to define something...
Answer my
you can
question.
define
If I
closed
have a
system.
closed jail, does that mean I can walk out of the closed jail? Let's just clarify terms. Closed means closed.
Why don't you not use a jail and just use anything else?
Okay.
Because the answer would be yes if you chose anything else.
So if I'm in a closed box, I can leave it freely.
A closed bus? Yes, you can
Box.
leave a closed bus.
Box.
You just need to open it and leave.
So I'd have to make it open, the opposite of closed, in order to leave then. So it would no longer be
find some
closed.
mechanism.
You would be... Why is it that I talk and you continue to talk over me? Why is that?
Well, you keep changing my words.
No. You keep changing the definition of closed.
Well, go ahead and look up closed system, and it'll refer to what we're talking about.
Oh, it'll refer to a system that you can leave, will it? That would be an open system, which is specifically what the heliocentrists say we live in. An open system.
Yeah, a closed system doesn't say that you can't leave.
Yeah, but according to your religion, we don't live in an open system. We can travel to the moon. We're going round in circles, Kosho. Are you a wanker?
No, you keep on making up your own rules. But these
Is it
aren't the
open
rules.
or closed? You're the one who's confused
closed
here,
system.
Kosho. Apparently, it's a closed system that we can leave. And when I say, can I
Exactly,
leave
there
a
you go.
closed box, you say I have to open it, which would be the antithesis of closed, wouldn't it? So you're confused,
that was the first time
and I'm
you said it
asking
correctly,
you
actually.
why you're so confused.
Well, you said it correctly that time, so I think that we're on the same page. It's a closed system that you can leave.
That's open. That's the contradiction of closed. So that's the antithesis of closed, you stupid idiot.
Yeah, if you want to confuse people in your audience, you can keep saying that, but you can look it up, and it's a simple Google search. It'll be the first thing you see when you search.
Right
Really?
now, you're the
No
only
worries.
one that's
Google
confused and-
search, closed.
No, it isn't.
How about this? Any single person on the panel, just look it up. And then you can call me an idiot when you look it up and it says what Nathan's saying.
Our living cell is considered as closed or open in terms of systems. So a living cell, I think, is considered as closed, yet matter can get through it, through the membrane.
Sorry, you think matter can escape a closed system?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's wrong.
Well, I mean, if you can look up living cells, I didn't, but I kind of assume that living cells are considered as a closed system when it comes to systems. So a living cell has a membrane which has a certain specific type of matter. And
But it's not technically not a closed system.
Isn't it?
I don't. Technology, it's not a closed system.
All right, perfect. Then other things, I don't know. I'm just making some examples of things in a closed system where matter can escape. That's like a fish tank that is open.
No worries, I've just done the Google search as requested by whatever his name is, Bonehead, who's very confused. A closed system is a physical system that does not allow certain types of transfers. Transfers such as the transfer of mass. That's directed
you
at
read
you,
this?
Zinda. Zinda, you stated that a closed system could transfer mass.
Yes, I think so.
Do you want me to read the definition again?
Yes, please.
No, I think I've heard it. A part of it, but I think I got your point.
So, do you want me to read the part that specifically says that it does not allow the transfer of mass, contrary to what you have asserted, Zinda?
Sure, you can read it again if you like.
No worries. A closed system is a physical system that does not allow certain types of transfers, such as transfer of mass. Did you hear it that time?
Yeah,
you
I've heard
are incorrect, Zinda. Closed, surprisingly, means closed. It means things don't escape. So if Earth, like this dick called Kosho asserts, is a closed system, then men aren't travelling to the moon. But Kosho is a retard, and he thinks that closed means open, because he's a retard. And he gives the definition that is actually the antithesis of the actual definition. Again, because he's a retard. You seem to be backing a retard sender who is wrong. So just for clarity, for the two retards on the panel, closed means closed, stuff not getting out. Open means stuff getting out. So men travelling to the moon would require it being open, and men not travelling to the moon, contrary to what Kosho the retard thinks, would be closed. Not travelling to the moon, Kosho. Not closed and travelling to the moon, you stupid retard.
Yeah, Nathan, I agree that when you read off Wikipedia, and you only read the first part of it, you often get a miss.
Well, then can we see the
representation of a
expansion?
word.
Can we
Yeah,
see
if
the
you read the
expansion
rest,
that helps your position then?
Yeah, if you read the rest of even the Wikipedia link, it even says that it's limited. Okay, so it might
Go on,
it doesn't just describe
carry
like
on
a
reading.
definite.
Carry on reading. What does it say?
I don't have it in front of me anymore because I'm looking at this page.
Why
but it
not?
says
You just said if you
it's
read
limited.
the rest of it, you stupid fucktard. Now read it.
No, I did read it.
So read
I
it
don't have
again.
in front of me.
Read it again
It
then,
describes later on that
shithead.
it's limited.
Read it again then, dumb fuck. Let's see how well this supports your argument, you stupid shit.
Why don't you keep reading it? Why don't you read what you're
Why?
asking?
When you've just told me and put it on screen that you can read it. So go and read it to us and see if it backs your assertion that you can leave a closed
Right.
system.
How
Like you've
about
asserted
this?
3
Why don't we
times.
find a
Like a
different source,
complete
like one that's not
fucking
Wikipedia?
idiot. Like a complete fucking idiot. That's what you are, Kosho. A fucking idiot.
Specification of types of transfers.
You seem to be
excluded,
mumbling.
Varies.
Do you not read
varies
clearly?
in the closest.
Do you not read clearly, mumbler? Does this not support?
No,
does
but
this
that's the
mumbling's
thing
not
is
to
that
support your
it's
assertion?
A lot of different. There's one for physics. There's one for thermodynamics. There's one for.
That's fascinating. Can mass transfer out of a closed system, as you asserted, like men travelling to the moon through the closed system?
Yeah, it says closed systems are often used to limit the factors that can affect the results of specific problem or experiment.
Sorry,
So it
can
just gives you a
matter
limit.
leave a closed system as you asserted? You said that Earth is closed and men can travel to the moon because that's possible in a closed system.
Yes. So what I'll do is I'll give you a real
So
source.
where's the citation
outside of
that
Wikipedia.
backs that?
Sure.
Don't just
Absolutely.
assert it.
You
Don't
want-
just say yes. Show me.
Well,
Read
I've
out
done
the
this
section
before,
that backs
so
that.
I'll use the same source I've used before. So hold on.
So just to read on, it says, in thermodynamics, a closed system can exchange energy as heat or work, but not mass of substance. I wonder if a rocket ship classes as mass of substance, Kosho.
Yeah, see, the Earth doesn't do that by itself.
You didn't seem
That's
to
us
answer my
manipulating
question.
The ship and
You didn't
leaving
answer
Earth.
my question, Kosho. You seem to have ignored it. So, do you think a rocket counts as a mass of substance or not?
The ship is mass. And
Oh, so that wouldn't be possible to leave a closed system then? You stupid fucking idiot.
So here's a real source.
Excuse me? Are you going to acknowledge my demolition of your absolute fucktardery here, or are you just going to move on?
No, I mean, if you clearly don't understand the terms and you're looking up the wrong things. You can.
Oh, really? I've just read a definition, something you mumbled around and claimed that it supported you without actually providing a smegging thing. So I'll read it again, just to be clear, for Kosho, who is a bonehead, religious zealot, who has not conceded a single thing, just like Wiggles, and is continually asserting his religious faith that a closed system will allow mass to transfer. So I'll read it again for you, Kosho, and you can tell me how it asserts your position. In thermodynamics, a closed system can exchange energy, but not mass.
Right, so I can read to you an actual scientific citation now, unless you want to read some more Wikipedia.
Go on then.
Okay, so
before you start reading, can you provide the link so we can see it too?
Yeah, let me post it in the chat. Hold on. Sorry,
Wait for him to post it. That's okay. Because last time we had someone start reading, he added lines that weren't there.
Fair enough. Give me 1 second. I wish there was an easier way to do this. I'm on my phone. Hold on.
Just like to point out that you suggested I do a Google search. I did. I took the first result, and now you're saying that's wrong. So upon your suggestion, I did that search because you told me to.
You're cherry picking things, and it's clear. And I'm not saying it's clear. You don't understand what these terms mean.
No worries. I'll repeat the terms again, and I'll see if I'm misunderstanding them. In thermodynamics, a closed system, specifically what we're talking about, can exchange energy. Okay, I understand that. Like heat or work, right? I got that. But not mass. That's what it says, Kosho. It can exchange heat and work, but not mass. Am I misunderstanding something about that?
Absolutely, you are.
Oh, so it can transfer. What it means is, it means mass. Then it means it can transfer rockets through a closed system. Then, because they're mass, aren't they? Like you established.
Sections in that article, because it means different things for different branches.
No, it doesn't. It's very clear and specific. In thermodynamics, a closed system can exchange energy, but not mass. That's very specific, Kosho.
Right.
And it shits all over your stupid assertion that rockets can travel through a closed system. That's just bollocks. Wrong. You wrong.
Yeah, as far as energy is concerned, that's why it's different for different things.
Yeah, we're talking about mass though, aren't we? So rockets aren't energy, they're mass.
Yeah.
So mass doesn't leave a closed system, Kosho. Something that you asserted incorrectly. But you won't concede because, as I questioned earlier, now making an assertion, you are a wanker.
Yeah, he
sure.
is.
Let me post.
You are a wanker,
Kosho. Let me post this.
So, are you going to concede that mass cannot leave?
I'm not going to concede on something that, like, clearly I'm talking to people who don't, and it's fine if you don't understand it, but don't
understand it. I'll read it again, you fucktard. In thermodynamics, a closed system can exchange energy as heat or work, but not mass of substance. I'm not misunderstanding that. You think that you can transfer mass.
We're literally leaving. Like, it takes work to leave. It's hard work.
No, mass doesn't leave. Energy can leave, but not mass of substance, Kosho. You are thick if you don't understand this.
Nathan, can I try for a second? Dane, are you there? Can you hear me?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I was asking. Maybe I was going to try to ask the question. Maybe try to answer an angle.
Yeah. So we're just very quickly, because I haven't even gotten to this thing yet. But there's a difference between an isolated system, a closed system, and an open system.
Yeah, we know, dickhead. Come on.
We're not talking about either one of those.
Sorry.
Yeah, we are. We're talking about the closed system.
I know. We agree on that. We're all agreeing on this. A closed system. I mean, I was looking at it on Wikipedia myself. Okay, a closed system cannot exchange mass. Okay, but it can exchange energy, which I think we all can agree. Would everybody on the panel agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. The issue is that you guys think that it's an absolute limitation, and not something that meteors.
Yeah, let me finish.
So what bit of cannot do you not understand then that makes it not absolute?
Because meteors can come in, and we're losing air every second.
Sorry.
So it's not like it's.
Hang on.
Yeah, meteors.
Hang on. He's giving us what we need. You just hang on for a second. Is air and meteors mass?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So is there an exchange occurring?
Yeah, there's a slight escape. It's not an open moving freely. It's such a small amount that it's negligible.
Sorry, it doesn't say it allows a negligible amount of mass to escape an open system. If it's escaping, closed system. If it's escaping, it is ipso facto an open system, not closed as you are asserting because you are stupid.
Yeah, I'm not going to post this PDF because I have to download it. I'll just post from a website.
It's okay. I've got a little diagram right here. Do you see the diagram? I think I'm sharing it. Can you see it? Oh, let me go back there. Can you see my This is off Wikipedia. This is a diagram. Do you see the diagram?
Yeah, I'm about to get back to that.
Okay.
Hold on.
It says that the purple arrow is mass, the red arrow is energy. Okay, a closed system, mass cannot enter, matter cannot enter. So if you have a meteor entering the Earth's atmosphere, that is matter entering the Earth's atmosphere. If you have a gas leaving the Earth's atmosphere or a rocket, that is matter leaving. So back to square one. If there's any exchange at all, it is an open system. Look over to the right, the next bubble. If there's any exchange at all, it's an open system. This is very simple.
So if we've got a little bit of gas escaping and rockets can leave the system, then it is open, Kosho. Contrary to your assertion, you're just wrong.
I'm trying to post something to you guys, but...
Yeah, you're just talking shit now, ignoring what Paul said, ignoring what I've said.
Diagram.
So you're a wanker.
Diagram, and
you are a wanker. You have not acknowledged a word Paul said. You've not acknowledged a word I've said. We've smashed your assertions into the middle of next week, and you've ignored them. Fundy zealot.
No, I understand. I understand exactly what he just said. I looked at his.
So acknowledge it. You're wrong. Matter can't leave a closed system, contrary to your assertion. Now you're talking over me, wanker. Contrary to your assertion, you're doing it again, wanker. Wanker. Yeah, wanker. Yeah, contrary to your assertion, matter cannot leave a closed system. You are wrong, Kosho.
So what I'm going to do is
You're just going to ignore me. What I'm going to do is completely ignore this shit for the third time.
I'm listening to you. I'm trying to
you will acknowledge. Oi, wanker. You will acknowledge just how wrong you are. Or I'll sit here for the next 2 hours telling you over and over again, like the fundy zealot that you are, that you're wrong. While you don't concede, you fundy zealot.
Okay, Nathan, would you like to have a regular conversation?
Yeah, I'd like you to concede that you're wrong. A regular conversation where somebody is wrong and proven wrong, they concede they're wrong. You are not regular. You are a fundy zealot. So you won't have a normal conversation with me. How can you prove You'll talk over me while I'm in the middle of pointing out that you are a fundy zealot and you haven't conceded that you're wrong, despite the fact that me, Anthony and Paul now have all pointed out just how wrong you are, but you want to say that I'm the one with a problem, that I'm the one who can't have a normal conversation, when it's in fact you who won't concede you're wrong, in the face of 3 people showing you you're wrong.
Nathan, one person has shown me a diagram. You showed me a Wikipedia article. I'm trying to show you something, but you won't let me speak.
Speak?
So that's the difference.
Anthony asked you to post the PDF. Have you posted it yet?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to, but then you
Well, get on with it, you stupid moron! What is your malfunction? Don't you know how to post something here? Are you new to Hangouts, you stupid liar? Yeah, if you don't know how to do it, piss off and get an education in computing, you stupid dick.
I'm on my phone, Nathan.
Did it really take you this long?
If you stop talking, it would take 2 seconds, but you won't. Okay, I'm on my phone. I just need to send something to. I need to send something to Sleeping Warrior on his Discord, and hopefully he can post it for me.
Post what?
Where from? Where to?
It's just an article. The PDF I can probably also send you on there.
What's wrong with what I got? You told me to Google search it. That's precisely what I did. It's shit all over your argument, but that's now not. Why are you talking? I'll start again. Don't interrupt me.
Looking at 90 there, 90 back in a 16-seater.
Anthony, can you go on mute? So, Kosho, it's been demonstrated to you on multiple occasions that you are wrong, and you want to post something that you've yet to post.
Yeah, I'd like to post my evidence if that's all right.
No, you haven't answered me again. So you specifically told me to Google search closed systems. So I did.
Mm-hmm.
What was wrong with what you told me to do? That was your suggestion.
Yes.
So
I didn't understand that you were it was that difficult for you to understand that there's not everything that you're looking at is the way that you think it is in your head.
Sorry, it's not about how I think it is in my head, you misrepresenting asshole. That's not in my head. It is the reference you told me to get by the means you told me to get it. You
Yes.
said Google
So why-
search
the-
it. Now you're talking again. What an asshole. You're just a wanker, aren't you? So, wanker, I'll just call you wanker from now on, because that's what you are. I got a reference based on your suggestion and your methodology of acquiring that reference. Now you're saying that precisely what you told me to do was wrong, because apparently it's just my interpretation. It's not a reference by the means you told me to get it from. It's not a reference that you suggested I do.
No, because of the way you're interpreting it.
It's not an interpretation. It's called reading. I read it. I did not interpret the words. They were very, very, very specific and clear. No interpretation was required. A closed system can exchange energy as heat or work, but not mass. Not mass. That requires zero interpretation. It's very clear. I'm not misconstruing what it says. I'm fucking reading it.
Okay. Would you?
Yeah, okay. So you're wrong, you stupid blithering retard. Closed systems don't have rockets travelling out of them. Okay,
Hey.
Kosho?
Nathan, would you allow Riley to post the thing that I sent him? Because I can't display it.
Display what?
Okay. It's from the website. That's not Wikipedia. That's explaining what an open and closed system is in reference to the Earth.
Oh, in reference to your religious belief. So it's one of your religious sites.
No, in reference to the Earth.
In reference to your religious belief about what Earth is.
No, in reference to just the Earth. It's that the religious belief. It's just Earth.
Would it have a sphere
I don't
Earth?
understand. You read
Is
a
it
general
sphere
article.
Earth?
I'm
Is
giving
it
you a
describing a
specific
sphere Earth? Is it describing a sphere Earth?
No, it's not. It's just describing like an open system and a closed system in reference to the Earth.
What's the reference? Where is it from? Why didn't I find this when I Google searched it as you suggested?
Probably because you clicked on the first thing you saw. I clicked on the second or third.
Oh, right.
Of
So when you
course,
said do a Google search,
Hey,
I
hang
had
on, let me help clarify. I think I can clarify. You initially, Shane, asked for what's the definition from open and closed system. So we
That's
went
right.
and we defined that. Now
On Wikipedia.
you're actually wait a minute. Now you're actually being more specific, which you're saying you went and looked up, is the Earth a closed, open or closed system? That is a little bit more specific, but that's not what you asked initially. Now you're kind of changing the parameters slightly. Which
That's not what I looked up. And because of
That's
the
not what you
source
asked.
that was used,
That's not
because
what
of
you
the source
asked.
that was used, I'm going to need there to be something more specific because Wikipedia being used gives it such a general, it's just widely used in different ways and different things.
Oh, so when we're specifically talking about Earth, we redefine what open and closed means. And we need your specific reference that's talking specifically about Earth being open or closed for it to make sense in your mind and your reference.
The problem is when you read that, you're reading it as if it was an absolute restriction, whereas it's a general restriction.
It doesn't say that. That's not what the citation says. It doesn't say generally closed systems don't allow matter to escape. That's not what it says.
Mm-hmm. See, if you read anything else and then they
it does
use
not say
references-
that. It doesn't say generally. You're just inserting shit into the reference you told me to get because it doesn't suit your narrative.
Anything that you look at that has a reference, it'll say in quotations, except for the occasional meteor or the air that's leaving. That's everything.
Really? I'll just read the rest of it. See if it says the occasional meteor. In thermodynamics, a closed system can exchange energy as heat or work, but not mass of substance with its surroundings. An isolated system cannot exchange any heat or matter with the surroundings, while an open system can exchange energy and matter. Doesn't seem to mention meteors.
Yeah, and you're speaking about thermodynamics. This is why I'm saying that you have to find something specific about what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about
The same way when
thermodynamics.
Zinder-
Yeah, we're talking about open and closed systems. You specifically said we live in a system. I said outside of what? You said a system. So we are talking about systems.
Well, why do we have Riley?
What? Sorry, you're going to ignore that? You're just going to ignore that and now talk to Riley, asshole?
No,
Why would you
how am I
ignore
gonna
that?
Ignore you. You've said it 10 times, and I've listened to it 10 times.
So concede it. You're wrong.
how? Okay, listen. Just because you read one thing and won't read anything else doesn't mean someone's wrong.
I read it not because I wanted to or don't understand what thermodynamics are. I read it specifically because you directed me to Google search what open meant, and I did.
You understand?
And
that we're not
it
talking
does
about
not back your
thermodynamics.
claim.
You understand that we're not speaking about the thermodynamics when you're talking about the whole.
Now you're stuttering, aren't you? Yeah, we are talking about thermodynamics, very specifically. Open and closed systems. Yes, that would be thermodynamics. Specifically.
Yeah.
You might not
the
want to
issue,
talk about
is with
thermodynamics because you know that space, the bit that you're going to travel to the moon through, is a second law of thermodynamics violation. So you don't want to talk about thermodynamics. You want to talk over me every time I bring it up. Yeah, we're talking about...
You want to straw
yeah,
man
you want to
me
talk all
and say
over me,
things I
don't you,
haven't said.
shithead? Yeah? No, we are talking about thermodynamics.
When have I
You,
said that,
on the
though?
other hand, are talking about your religion. Very different things, I know. You want
No,
us to be
you're
talking
lying
about
about
your
things that I'm
religion.
saying. I haven't
We're
said
talking
that.
about
It doesn't violate the
thermodynamics.
second law of
You're
thermodynamics
talking
at all.
over me continually about your religious faith.
It doesn't violate the second law of thermodynamics. Do me a favor and let me speak when I'm speaking, and then I won't have to talk over you.
I'll do what the fuck I like, you stupid, arrogant little prick.
Show. The problem is you've been wrong this entire time. You're not
But
realizing
you're a smart
it.
man. No, you're a smart man. So if I were to show you something, you'd be able to say, okay, this is evidence. It's not just me reading the first Wikipedia thing I see and interpret.
That's what you told me to do. That is very specifically what you told me to do to back your claim. It just didn't.
Good luck, though. Like I said, you can listen to Nathan yelling, or you can just simply look it up.
I did,
It doesn't
as
take long.
directed by you. That's what I did. It just didn't back your shitty assertion that matter can leave a closed system. It can't.
Okay, then why don't you look at the source that I sent to Riley?
I did what you asked. You said Google search it then. Oh, you could just do a Google search. You were so arrogant when you were telling me to Google search it. Then I did.
Well, I thought you were smarter. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
right.
underestimated
Now it's
you.
ad hominem. I did precisely what was asked. It didn't back your claim. Now I've done it wrong. What a surprise.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, well, why didn't you just give me the specific reference rather than telling me to Google search it? You seem so confident. And yet when I did Google search it, it didn't back your claim. So when you told me to Google search it, you actually meant Google search the very specific thing that I want you to look at, my religious belief about Earth and space in reference to open and closed systems, because that'll back my assertion. That's what you actually meant when you said Google search an open system.
No, but looking at it in reference to the Earth would help. So there's
But
one
that's
in
not what you
reference.
said.
Kosho. Talk
That's
me
not
through
what
it,
you said.
Kosho.
Sorry, Anthony.
Okay, it describes the difference between a closed and an open system. Like I was saying, probably 20 times. It is
let's
a
go
closed
through this.
system in reference to the matter.
Kosho, shush. Stop talking. I'll
told me
read
to
it.
explain it.
No, I'll read it. I asked you to read it. I didn't say explain it. I said read it. So I'll read it for you, and then you can translate it, okay? After I finish reading. So let me stop speaking, then you can translate it. Says the Earth is a closed system for matter. The Earth is made up of chemical elements. Think of the periodic table. And this is that. Fuck off. That is a list of all the basic elements, materials on our planet. Because of gravity, matter comprising of all solids, liquids, and gases does not leave the system. It is a closed box. And the laws of thermodynamics, long agreed by science, all tell us this is impossible to destroy matter. So the chemical matter we have on Earth will always be here. The important question is, how are those chemicals organized? But with regards to energy, it says, it is accepted science that the Earth is an open system for energy. Energy radiates into the Earth system mainly from the sun. Energy is then radiated back into space from the Earth, with flows being regulated by the Earth's atmosphere and ozone layer. The delicate balanced transfer of energy maintains the surface temperature at a level that is suited to the forms of life that have evolved and currently exist. Translate, please.
Okay. Yeah, this article is describing how it's an open and closed system. And so when you interpret the thing that you read on Wikipedia, and it's using the Earth as an entire system, like a human body is another example of a closed system. Of course, you can eat food and you have to, destroy your waste or whatever, but the cells and everything that's in your body, they're part of you. It's the same way as the Earth. The Earth is a organic system where
Nathan, do you want to respond?
I'm sorry.
Certainly.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Coach.
Sorry.
Do you understand the article that Riley just read?
Yeah, that's what I'm describing.
Sorry,
is how...
I just want to clarify what it says. Can you just read the top heading below where it says Earth, below the contradiction in terms that is a title? Can you read that first line for me, Kosho?
It says the Earth is a closed system for matter.
That's what it says, Kosho. So this 100% backs my assertion that you are indeed a total fuckwit and incorrect. Matter, being rockets, can't leave Earth that is, according to this stupid fucking article, both open and closed. But then it says on the very next line, the Earth is a closed system for matter. Now, given that we have firmly established that a rocket is matter, according to this reference, rockets can't travel to the moon.
Okay. So rockets by themselves
Not okay.
don't leave the Earth.
Not
Nothing leaves
okay.
the Earth.
You're still not
We
okay.
have
Why
to set
did you
them
just say
off
okay?
and send them away.
No, this is not okay, Kosho. You are wrong. That's why we've dragged this out. So it's not okay. You are still wrong, even though you've cherry-picked a reference. It still doesn't back you.
Yeah. I'm trying to define exactly what this term means. Okay?
Go on, then.
It's like, it doesn't say, it doesn't say things are impossible for them to leave. Okay? It says that they don't leave on their own.
Right.
It's not something that just happens. Like rocks.
So your assertion was that we've got this wrong and this supports us. So how have we got this wrong but you've got it right?
Because you're interpreting it differently. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, really? So what are we misinterpreting?
Absolutely.
We're saying rockets can't leave. This document that you brought up says the Earth's a closed system for matter. It literally says, so the chemical matter we have on Earth will always be here.
Mm-hmm.
All the elemental materials. So how does a rocket go to space, Kosho?
We have to send it away. Let me ask you a question. Do you think the person who wrote this article, you think they believe that rockets have...
Who gives a shit? You can't question motives. It's words on a page.
No, I'm asking you a real question. Like,
Shut
you
up!
think the people who write
Shut
these
up!
articles actually think
Is he
that?
here? Who wrote this article? Is he here to ask that question, you stupid retard? No, it's
No,
just
but
the
the
words on the
answer is
page.
obvious.
It's just the citation. Who wrote this article, Anthony? Where's this article from?
No, it's Kosho's, isn't it? So it
No,
looks like
where's
it's
it?
written
Where's
on
the actual? Where's it posted?
Are you?
Wait, Kosho, you provided this link?
Yes, I'm trying to define you guys what a closed and open system is.
We know what a closed and open system is.
You're not understanding that you just provided a link that totally shits on your own point.
No, if interpreted by you guys, I can see that happening.
They're not interpretation. The Earth is a closed system for matter. It says the same damn thing my reference that you suggested I go and get says. The Earth is a closed system for matter. The exact same thing that mine said. Kosho,
Okay.
you're wrong.
Do you think it's more likely...
I don't care about likelihood. It says it in black and white letters. Can you read? Are you really this big a fundy? Bloody fundy zealots.
It's like,
all we get
you
here
think
is
that all these
bloody
people think rockets can go to
fundies.
space?
You won't concede a single
Kosho.
point, you bloody religious zealot. You bloody fundy.
Kosho, can you read the words that are illuminated in blue, please?
Yeah, can you answer my question, though?
No, read those words.
The Earth is an open and closed system.
Are you deaf? He said highlighted in blue.
I don't have his thing on my screen. I was looking at my screen.
Oh, no worries. I'll read it for you. All solids. I wonder if a rocket's solid. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Liquids and gases does not leave the system.
Mm-hmm.
That would be your concession, would it? Yeah, that would be us taking a big steaming dump on your assertion that rockets can leave a closed system.
Yeah, you missed the last sentence.
It is a closed box, a bit like the example I gave. Before having to Google it on your suggestion,
I can see why.
I used these words in your reference. Before searching through Google on your suggestion, I used those very words. Like a closed box, Kosho. Apparently that wasn't good enough and we had to go to references that said the same as I did.
I underestimated the understanding here. You have a strict bias, and it's not allowing you to see
Kosho.
clearly.
Not see. Read words that are on a page. We're not interpreting it. It's in black and white.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying to you. So you think that all these descriptions from all these different sources, the people who come up with these, they don't think that satellites exist?
Sorry, I can't speak to the motivation or thoughts of an author of an article we're reading. It's just an article. I said this only moments earlier. Hello, dickhead, is he here to ask that question? Oh no, we've just got the article that shits all over your assertion that twice you have directed us to. Once you cherry-picked, once I followed your instructions. On both occasions, they said the exact same thing that I asserted before going to any references. In every single instance, me, Anthony, Paul, both of your references, they all shit on your argument. Yet here we still are, with you telling us that it's us confused. No, you're just a fundy zealot who can never concede you're wrong.
No, I think they're assuming that the people who are reading these things are...
Oh, you think he's assuming? You are speaking quite specifically to the motivation of an author who is not here, rather than just reading the words. Okay, Kosho, so you are just a wanker.
So you think geologists don't use...
Oh, so subject change, time for a red herring. Yeah, this shit's on your argument. I said I'd stay here indefinitely.
No, I'm really just curious on why that is that you think that they write this.
I don't give a
really
crap.
think
Third time.
Satellites can't go to space.
Third time I've said it to a
That's how they get
spastic.
their funding.
I'll say it again.
Yeah.
I cannot speak to the motivation of black and white words on a page. I can only read the words. You, a fundy zealot, will interpret it, change the meaning, reinterpret it, and question the motivation of the author, rather than read the bloody words on the page.
Yeah, I'm trying to see...
Let me go at this at a different angle.
Open your eyes.
Hey, look at my screen if you can see it. Because you said earlier that the body is a closed system that allows things to go back and forth. Well, actually, according to biology itself, biological organisms are open systems. Every cell in your body allows osmosis, which means salt and nutrients can pass back and forth across the membrane of the cell. That indicates an open system, even in that of itself. A closed system, as we've been saying for who knows how long, and Nathan and everybody else has been hammering, is matter cannot cross it. So even using your own example, you've messed up again.
I didn't use cells as an example.
Yes, you did. You said the biological...
No, Zinder did.
Oh, maybe, okay, Zinder did. Okay, I'm sorry.
Either way.
But that even a biological system, if there's an exchange of matter across the membrane, that is an open system.
Like I said, it's used differently in different fields like biology, thermodynamics. So here's
we've just given the references that specifically cite thermodynamics. They don't assert anything like what you have asserted. I'll say it again. You're wrong.
Okay, well then I'll say what I'm saying then.
No, we don't care what you're saying. You're just a religious fundy. We've just taken the references you gave us.
I'm reading another definition.
You're reading another pseudoscience bullshit story.
No, it's just another definition.
Doesn't make any damn sight in plain sight. There's broken logic right there in your face, and you don't even see it.
5 times so far, Kosho, we have demolished your assertions. 5 times we have done it so far. 2 of which were with your references that you directed us to. They also crapped on your argument, my friend. But like the fundy zealot you are, you still won't concede it.
Well, it's the way that was written. Here's another way it was written. It says the sun... Here it says exchange of matter is almost zero, and so it's considered a closed system. It's almost zero.
Sorry, where are you getting this
zero.
crap from? Sorry, everyone else puts their citations on screen.
Yeah, well, I sent this one to Riley as well.
You want to look it up, Anthony? If not, I'll round out this show. No? Anthony? is about as tired of this absolute nonsense from Kosho as I am. So with that, I will say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the audience in Nathan Oakley 1980 for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. Also a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. Check out the forum on nathanoakley.com. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!